So welcome to this week's webinar for the Texas Engineering and Technology Network. And this week we're looking at the subject of failing fast, rapid prototyping for sales growth. And this is part of the 7 parts of the 7 stages of the entrepreneur's journey. So as you recall from previous presentations, there are 3 main features, or 3 main processes: the 7 stages of entrepreneurship, the high profit business exit strategy, and building a predictable growth engine. And we're going to talk more about these in detail in the future, but this week we're focusing on stage 1 of the entrepreneurship journey, prototyping. So as I said, there are 7 steps: prototyping, building the growth engine, systematization, paying up, getting to implementing an advisory board, growing through M&A, and then the high profit exit strategy. So we saw this on a previous presentation. This is the typical life cycle of a business. After a period of flatlining, the business owner either breaks out and moves on to a high value exit, or they stay, become a legacy business, end up in zombie mode, and ultimately end up in the death spiral. And obviously we want to avoid that. So the seven elements of the journey which we apply to take charge of this event profile: prototyping, implementing the predictable growth engine, systematization, paying up to motivate the owner to then go for the breakout, setting up an advisory board to help with some of the key decision making, expansion through M&A, and finally the high profit exit. So when we spoke about prototyping. So before assuming any major commitments or liabilities, sell 10 of your core product or service. If you can't sell 10, you don't have a business. And there's a number of reasons why you might not be able to make the sale. So let's look at that. 3 main reasons why customers don't buy. They don't want your product, so it's not a good product to market fit. They don't know about your product. You may have a great product, but if the potential customer doesn't know about it, then you're never going to sell anything. So that's a marketing issue. And they don't value your product. Again, that's a positioning and a messaging issue. So they don't want your product. The way we address this is by creating specific avatars for your client and your product type. So we recommend a 7x7 matrix. That gives us 49 options for the avatar. We go through, we look at different client types, different product types, and then we score each of these avatars. We apply the Pareto principle, that's more commonly known as the 80-20 rule. So we select the top 20% of our avatars. If we've done the complete 7x7 matrix, that would be 9 or 10 variants. And then once we've got those 9 or 10 variants, we can then prioritize them, do a gut check, and find out which one we're going to focus on first. There's an old adage, if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch either. So we focus on just one, which our analysis would suggest is our best avatar for that particular product mix. And then we go after that and we create the marketing message around what we think is our highest probability of success. If your customers don't know about your product, then that's a marketing issue. And the thing is, nowadays, there's so much noise on the internet, in society, so much data, that people are just overwhelmed. So don't expect people just to come and find you. Just to give you an example, in 1 minute, there are over 474,000 tweets on Twitter, 27,000 posts on Instagram, over 3 million posts, 510,000 comments, 293 status updates, and 136,000 photographs uploaded on Facebook every minute. There's 100 million SMS text messages sent every minute, 3.5 billion Google searches, and 18,000 minutes of video is uploaded to YouTube. So if you expect people just to come across your website, find you, and be overwhelmed with joy because of your product or service, it's not going to happen. You have to take a deliberate action to get your message and get your content and knowledge of your product out to your potential clients. And you need to present it in a way that they are ready to consume it. So there's no point sending a message to a client when they're not thinking about the problem. So again, trying to market to a business person at the weekend is maybe not the best idea, or over a holiday period. So you need to be getting the message in front of them when they are ready to hear it. You need to present it in a manner that's easy to consume. Regrettably, because of our exposure to the internet and instant gratification, human beings now have a lower attention span than a goldfish. So if you haven't grabbed your customer's attention and engaged with them within the first 7 seconds of the connection, you're going to lose them. And but if you do manage to engage with them, you then need to take them through and build the case to bring them to a call to action and ideally capture their email. So once you've got that email capture, you can then remarket to them as much as you want to then try and educate them and bring them to the knowledge of your product or service. How do we do this? Well, we split test everything. So this is where we fail fast. And the things that you should be testing is the content medium. Are you on the right social medium channel? If you are selling a high ticket technical service, doing 30-second videos on TikTok is probably not a good idea. The copy length. Traditionally, people prefer shorter copy nowadays. We have a lower attention span. But if you have a lot of good information, long copy sells as long as it's written and done correctly. The copy style. If you have a heavy technical presentation, doing it in a jokey style is again incongruent and you will lose your reader. So your copy style needs to be appropriate to your marketplace. Again, fundamental principles of copywriting: headline, subheadline, and imagery. Test them, mix up the headlines and the subheads. Make sure you have a strong call to action and try different call to actions. Some people may be nervous about giving you their email. They know as soon as you get it, you're going to remarket to them, but they might be comfortable connecting with you on LinkedIn. They can always ignore you if they don't like what's going on. So test different call to actions. The trick is you need to get the ability to remarket to that prospect without having to pay Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, whoever, every time for the connection. And then, as we said, we want you to fail fast. So constant CRO, conversion rate optimization. Most of the PPC platforms allow you to do ad grids, so you can do a 5x5 grid. So from 5 headlines and 5 subheads, you get 25 different ad variants. Put a couple of $100 into the account, run that through, and see which one percolates up. Whichever is the winner, use that as the basis, and then split test something else. So constant testing, constant improvement until you get your message right and absolutely bang on for your preferred avatar for that product or service. The third option is they don't value the product, and this is a failure of your marketing to educate your marketplace on what you do. You may love your product, you may think you've created the best thing since sliced bread, but if it doesn't answer the marketer's question, WIIFM, what's in it for me, your prospect won't care. They don't care, and they will never engage with you. Another thing to understand is sales are never lost on price. Sales are always lost on a lack of perceived value, okay? Now, when I say this, if you tried to sell a Rolls Royce to a homeless person, the sale was never going to happen. You just don't have a good market product fit. But if you're trying to sell a Taurus to a mid-range, mid-income household, then that's fine. That's potentially a good fit, but now you have to make the value proposition so that they want to go to the buying position. One of the examples of this is if I asked you how much is a bottle of water worth? Well, if you went to Kmart or Walmart or wherever, bought a case of water, you maybe spending $15 for a case. So a bottle of water is 68 cents or thereabouts. If you go to an Astros game, that same bottle of water is going to cost you $5. That's supply and demand. That's market manipulation. Conversely, if you went out for a hike over the weekend and you just did a 10-mile trail through the woods and you forgot to take water in your backpack, when you get to the end of the trail and you get to the food truck that's waiting at the end of the trail, you would gladly pay $5 for that bottle of water because your need is higher. Okay, the value increases because the perceived need or the actual need has increased. Take that to its logical conclusion. If you are stranded in the Sahara Desert for 3 days without food or water, and as you're crawling over the sand dune, you see a guy sat there with his camel and a little shelf that says, water here, name your price, then you would give pretty much everything you had, because if you don't get that water, you are going to die. The water becomes critical for you, so you'll pay whatever it takes to get that water. So value is merely, or price is merely a representation of the value at the time, and your job is to get the right message in front of your prospect at the time when they're in that buying mode. And the other thing is social proof. This is the best way for getting a prospect to that buying decision. All buying decisions are triggered in the emotional center of the brain, so you need to get this social proof out there, and the best way to present social proof is actually with video testimonials. Video is 14 times more powerful than text. So use that, get the social proof, and then bring your prospect to the buying decision. So that's a brief overview. I just wanted to, again, summarize the first of the stages of the 7 stages of the entrepreneur's journey. We'll look at the other 2 stages later on. And just to give you an idea of how this all comes together, this is how we recommend you take your business through this evolutionary process to go from initial assessment, activation, bring your business to the point where it's a scalable business, then go through the entrepreneur's journey so that you can ultimately embark on that high value exit process to maximize the value of the business when you're ready to exit. So that's the help we want to offer through the Texas Engineering and Technology Network. I hope you found this useful, and please do connect with us. If you are the founder or the owner or a senior decision maker in a Texas-based engineering and technology company, find us on LinkedIn, join the group, put in an application. I'll be happy to connect with you and get you into the group. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly. It's just my LinkedIn profile is David J. Walters, and then I'll be happy to connect with you, and we'll get you into the group so that you can start to benefit from the network of Texas-based engineering and technology business owners who are helping each other grow and scale their business. Thanks for your time.